sunrise over the London skyline, dawn of a new era in tennis. When Roger Federer and Mark Philippoussis walked into the cauldron of centre court for their first Grand Slam final, at stake was the holy grail of tennis.
Being able to watch my son playing a final and I knew how much Wimbledon meant to him.
I was always joking around when I was a boy. I'm gonna win this. And
Australia has produced some of tennis's most endearing champions. At the 2004 Australian Open, victory would guarantee Federer the #1 spot in the ATP rankings. Not even the formidable Marat Safin could stand in the way of that goal.
I won the Australian Open and my second Grand Slam title, and that was a big moment for me, becoming #1 in the world for the first time, because you know, all my heroes were #1 in the world. So I got my first and second Grand Slam title, but then on top of that I got #1 in the world, which was unbelievable.
At Wimbledon, destiny dealt Federer a card that pitted him against the man he knocked off the #1 spot just 5 months earlier. The powerful Andy Roddick was out for revenge.
Roddick probably has never played better or more ferociously for a set and a half than he did in that final. And he threw it all at him. Huge serves. Probably never has hit the ball harder before or since, I don't think, than he did in that match. And Roger, you could see him eyes a little bit wider than usual, which is a rare thing for him.
I knew it would be a dangerous and difficult match from then on. At least, you know, I had a good reaction to it. Luckily for me, I could turn it around, and I think the reason why I won is because I really fought hard and stayed very calm.
And you could see him absorb it with his game and then gradually just tightening the screws and reeling Andy in. And Roger's class just over time wore him down. And I think that was one of the better finals I've seen him play for that very reason. That match for me was a really critical one for Roger's career, that he won that after the opening onslaught.
Roger just played too good today. You know, I threw the kitchen sink at him, but he went to the bathroom and got his tub.
I started to just pour out all the talent I had, and I finally could unlock all my potential. It was unbelievable, you know, the feeling I got after it. I got so confident, and with confidence you play better, and when you play better you get more results, and the whole thing was like this snowball effect. For me, that opened up the gate.
Ridiculous. Great point. Roger Federer.
After defeating Andy Roddick at the previous Wimbledon Championships, Federer was aiming to prevent the American from realigning the power balance.
You just have to sit back and say too good sometimes.
New York, a city famed for its unpredictability and brashness.
The final that sticks out for me, of course, would be the Agassi final. And that he played Roger was very fitting and symbolic. And I think Roger managed to handle the crowd, which was completely against him, and handled it with a lot of dignity and a lot of composure. recall after that final, Andre said, I've been disappointed in the past when I've lost matches like this, but this time I'm really not, because at some point or another you have to admit the obvious, and that's just that you're losing to a better player. Having played against Sampras and Becker and Edberg, Lendl, and McEnroe as well, that's quite a statement.
Being called one of the greatest of all time usually requires a lifetime's work. Federer was receiving such praise aged just 24. Federer started 2006 in top gear, turning up the heat against Marcos Baghdatis in the first Grand Slam of the season. Federer's determination, allied with his killer instinct, was now familiar to the watching world, and it was leaving us wanting more. On a stage full of history, the presence of another great champion, Rod Laver, was not lost on Federer.
How great he is. You know, probably talking about it and being compared with me and Laver and just the history of the game, I think he's pretty humble.
Later that year at Wimbledon, Federer fended off all challenges to his crown, dropping just a single set.
When it comes to the big moment, he has that extra gear and that extra belief that he's going to win.
He had his fourth Wimbledon title, elevating him to new heights only reached by a select few at his favorite tournament.
It's very nice to play in such an ambiance, you know, it's such a nice feeling, you know, and so I've always respected that very, very much, and I think people feel that, you know. I don't try to put on a show, I try to go out there and play my best tennis, try to create some magical shots if I can, you know. If it doesn't work out, you know, at least I gave 100%, and I think that's what the English people really enjoy.
Back in New York, Federer's ability to raise his game impressed a fellow champion.
His understanding of just himself, what he needs, and especially in the big points. We both love to be tested, to, you know, find out what we have inside and ourselves, whether we can bring out our best stuff at the right time. That is a rush, and it is a rush to play your best in the biggest events, and to have, you know, your game peak physically and mentally in the biggest events. That's what it's all about.
Only needs one.
A pattern was emerging. Victory in Melbourne proved that mentally many opponents were beaten before they were even on court. But every champion has a nemesis. There comes a time when every champion has to stare directly into the eyes of adversity. Federer was taken to a fifth set for the first time in his Grand Slam final career. He dug deep and began to tame Nadal's onslaught. In the toughest match of his life, Federer was the embodiment of grit and determination. After 5 grueling sets, Federer's moment of victory had come. Later in New York, Federer signed off on another momentous year with a winning performance at Flushing Meadows. His 4th US Open title brought his current Grand Slam tally to 12.
The bit mystery, who was the greatest of all time? Is it Rod Laver? Is it Pete Sampras? Who is it, you know? What do you need to win to become the greatest of all time? All I can do is give my best, and I think we should then judge my career at the very, very end and see where I'm at.
For a 5th time, Roger Federer is champion in New York. Federer, he climbed a mountain in many ways.